Alright, good evening, guys. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about gene therapy and gene editing. It's going to be the next new big thing in medicine over the next decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. What you can do with gene therapy and gene editing is quite amazing. I mean, we're talking about giving people back their sight from a certain type of genetic deficiency in their eye. Like, Spark Therapeutics just got their drug approved called Luxturna, and it's an $850,000 drug, and so the disease they have, there's an RPE65 gene. So the RPE65 gene therapy. Type in gene therapy. It's a protein. So what happens is I'm gonna tell you a quick story real quick. Me and my brother have some muscle issues. We've been looking for the answer for about 10 years now. And finally last year we were diagnosed with a disease called Pompe disease. Now that's a glycogen storage disease. Eventually it leads to muscle failure, eventually death. Luckily, me and my brother have the less severe version. There's an infantile and a late onset. The late onset, you can live a pretty normal life. There's a current treatment right now, but that's the only treatment. It requires twice a month infusions, 4 hours every 2 weeks. So it can get kind of frustrating and annoying. Gene therapy could obviously be very big for us. So what happens with the disease, me and my brother, I noticed I was losing some of my strength in my legs. Stairs were getting harder to climb. Just last year I realized I couldn't wakeboard anymore. I couldn't get up. So it's a glycogen storage disease. So what happens is we eat, bread, glycogen, source of energy. Now you eat a normal body. It's the GAA gene. A normal body would produce an enzyme that would break down the glycogen into glucose, which we use for energy. Well, me and my brother's gene is malfunctioning. Both copies from my parents. We ended up with the defect, mutation. So, long story short, we're on treatment. We're doing good. But gene therapy it's such an amazing thing, and I think it's going to be huge. Now, I'm not going to show any charts in this video. I'm going to explain what gene therapy is so the investors have a little bit better idea of what it is. I'll go through a few stocks, too, that have been doing it. As I said, Spark Therapeutics is the only approved gene therapy, and their gene therapy does not... it's not an enzyme, but it's a protein in the back of their eye. The RPE65 gene does not produce enough protein. But with their gene therapy, it has shown that kids can see again after an injection with the gene therapy. And it's quite amazing. Now, this isn't for any blindness, but just this genetic defect. So what happens in gene therapy is you got a malfunctioning gene like me and my brother do. Now, you take a vector. You need a vector to carry a functioning gene to its designated location. So, Spark uses AAV2, central nervous system, eyes. Retinal RPE, AAV2. Sorry, CNS isn't eyes. But RPE65, there's a gene, AAV2. This is what Spark used. So what happens is you get injected with the AAV2, which carries the functioning gene to its designated location, and then it will take over and start producing the right protein or enzyme. So, as you can see in Spark Therapeutics. So, Spark Therapeutics, I'm not showing you fundamentals because most of the fundamentals are garbage. They really are on bios. So that's Spark. So see, only approved. This is a few. I believe these two are two. Blue has one going for, I want to say, sickle cell disease. Yeah, sickle cell disease. And the patient dosed in Blue's trial didn't have to have any treatment that I know of so far. Another one that I'm looking at is Bold. I bought shares today. I bought 5 at $37.32. This is one of the companies that is developing it's not on here yet, but developing a gene therapy for Pompe disease with University of Florida and a doctor named Dr. Byrne, who's done the gene therapies before. So very hopeful. And I do know the first patient in the Pompe trial has been dosed. It's not up here yet. They'll probably announce it this earnings. So that's a catalyst. Bayo, I believe, has another drug. Yep, regenerative medicine. So gene epidermolysis bullosa, that is an awful disease, and you should hope that they come out with this really quick. They have quite a few going on, I see. MPS is another, I believe MPS. MPS is, just a muscle disease. So SGMO is another one. I'm just going through all these so you guys know what they're developing and how this works. Gene therapy for hemophilia A. I think these are gene therapy as well. I'm not sure. You might want to check their pipeline on their website. AVXS. Yep, SMA, spinal muscular atrophy. Most of these people are in wheelchairs. Did not know AVXS had a phase 3 trial. This is another one close to approval. Also, once it's not up there yet, but they are doing a Pompe disease gene therapy within most likely be one of these vectors, because it's going to be liver directed. So what happens is if it goes to the liver, Duke has done trials. They inject you with the AAV and the functioning gene, and it goes to your liver, and then the liver can act as a producing enzyme factory again. Because me and my brother still make some enzyme, but we don't make a lot. So, we keep getting weaker, but the treatment is slowing the progression down, thankfully. Yeah, they're doing a Pompe one. QURE, RGNX. They had a gene therapy, but I believe they stopped. Anyways, they used to have the highest price gene therapy at $1 million called Glybera. It was only used once, so all that research and development was pretty much for nothing. RGNX Bio. MPS again. NTLA, I'm not even sure what's that one. So, okay, the CRISPR stocks are on here. So CRISPR is quite interesting. Basically, it's the CRISPR system. I'm not even sure what it stands for because it's quite the mouthful. CRISPR basically is a system that uses a protein to cut your DNA and replace it with functioning DNA, I believe. So it's called the clustered regular interspace short palindromic repeats. So guiding the system matching sequences of DNA. When the target DNA is found, this CRISPR spacer sequences are transcribed into short RNA sequences, CRNAs, so which is capable of guiding the system to matching sequences of DNA. The target DNA is found, Cas9, it's an enzyme produced by CRISPR, binds to the DNA and cuts it, shutting the gene off. Using some modified versions, they can activate gene expression instead of cutting the DNA. So some people think that with CRISPR, they haven't done it on humans yet. But as me and my brother have the bad gene, CRISPR could be helpful to us, and it could just basically rewrite the error in the sequence of the human genome to treat our genetic disease. So, and the disease me and my brother have is progressive, and already existing damage cannot be done. Now we can gain some strength back through certain types of therapies and treatments, but we can't get rid of the already damaged muscle unless stem cells come into play. Now, the treatment me and my brother are currently on are called enzyme replacement therapies. So Sanofi makes the current drug called Lumazyme. I don't believe it's in here. So Lumazyme was created. I don't know if you watched President Trump's inauguration speech last year, but he had a young woman there in a wheelchair. Her name was Megan Crowley. Well, it just so happens that Megan Crowley's dad is John Crowley, the Amicus Therapeutics CEO. He raised $100 million in venture capitalism and helped get a treatment made to save his son and daughter. It's a movie with Harrison Ford and Brendan Fraser called Extraordinary Measures. Now, his company called Novozyme was bought out by Genzyme, which was later bought out by Sanofi, and the drug's called Lumazyme. It's actually made using recombinant DNA made in bioreactors, and it's actually made from Chinese hamster ovaries. They took the GAA producing genes, or not the genes, it's made using recombinant DNA. So, Chinese hamster ovary cells. So it's made from the cells of Chinese hamster ovaries. Now, it's basically a replacement therapy. So it's the GAA from a Chinese hamster ovary cells. And it works. It worked better than a human's. That's what they found out when they were doing the trial. The humans wasn't stabilized. Now, Sanofi, obviously, big money maker. It's an orphan drug. They need to come up with the next generation. Well, the problem with the current ones is that it doesn't break the blood-brain barrier, so it doesn't get to your brain, and it doesn't target the muscles very well. So, not sure what exactly is different than Neo-GAA compared to Lumizyme, but it will, from what I hear, it's better than Lumizyme from people who are in the trials. And also, Fold Amicus Therapeutics, they have shown, with their Pompe drug, they have shown amazing. It's still in phase 1-2, but we're going to get an update in about 8 days here. It's ATB 200/210, I believe. But they have shown awesome results. Increasing the 6-meter walk test, not having to use your hands when you get up from a chair, decreased times in getting up. It's quite amazing. If you have any questions about biotechs in general, ask me. Gene therapy, gene editing, I follow them all very closely. I just gave you like 10 stocks that you should probably keep an eye on. This is one of them. Especially their CEO has drive since his daughter and son have it. Anyways, thanks for watching. My name's Jake. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you too long. More videos to come.